Beautiful Darth Peepers.
That is exactly what they come to see. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Drop Room. I am Balti Baby, and to my left or right, I forget every week which way this guy is.
One of those directions.
It's one of the. It can't be
You've
up or
got
down.
two options. Just take a
Yes,
gamble. 50,
exactly.
50,
50-50. Left
Jokes
or right.
Griffin superimposed our cams this week.
What?
We speak with one mouth.
that would be amazing.
And horrifying.
Darth Baby. I don't know if I approve of that.
How subtly
that
horrifying
name.
would it be if you just photoshopped our mouths and swapped them, like a face swap, but just our mouths, so they disassociated from the rest of our faces? All right, that's a tangent.
Okay, if we can make that happen, Griff, that would be amazing.
We should check it out.
That'd be a highlight of the show.
So that's horrifying, but what's not horrifying is that we've got an amazing run of topics for you this week. We're going to be starting out talking about DreamHack Stockholm, an event I didn't actually see that much of since I was at another event all weekend, but I caught the highlights, I caught the run of it, and it really was quite a fascinating run for the tournament. We'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about GexCon, the thing I was at all weekend, of course. I got some inside perspective on that one, so we'll have a discussion there. We'll talk the major and the predictions that we've got going for it, the advanced cup quality, and finally we'll talk about the changes that are coming to MDL relegation.
There's some spicy changes.
Spicy
changes. But to start,
we dive right in?
We'll dive right in. We're going in with DreamHack Stockholm. Well, should we call it the second highlight? GexCon is really the highlight of the weekend.
Really highlight.
100%. Right. So we're gonna lead you in to the real highlight. We're gonna talk about DreamHack Stockholm. Exactly. Hit you with the teaser. So North wins this event like a bunch of nutters with a new player in the lineup, and they just win. So there's a storyline in and of itself. North wins an event. That sentence alone just makes you go, what the hell just happened?
Guys, it turns out MSL was an opera this whole time. We just didn't know.
Yeah, we just didn't believe it. Like, we always thought, like, hey, he's an okay second op. And then he actually just takes the op himself, and he's like, I'm going to do this. So
wins that MVP medal.
And then wins the MVP, which is pretty insane. And we see 2015 AZ again. Nice to see you, man. Glad that you came out. Really appreciate it. I'm sure North was very appreciative. And I'm sure the Twitter account AZesque was very happy to see that. So we got a number of storylines. I wanted to hit at least each group in terms of storylines that we had for this event, because it actually was quite a big event. It was also a Grand Slam event for the Intel Grand Slam Season 1 thing going on. So FaZe actually had a chance to take it home, but unfortunately they did not win this event. So it's irrelevant. So my storyline for this first group is, what in the hell are these groupings? And I don't know how we didn't recognize this the first time that we actually looked at them. But if you just take a little look-see here, all right? You got both Asian Oceanic teams in the same division against two Danish teams. So Astralis and North in the same division, excuse me. And then Tyloo and Greyhound in the same division. Excuse me. How does that happen? Group B, NIP, Na'Vi. Totally fine. I have nothing against that. Ghost and NRG. Excuse me. Both Oceanic teams matched up. Both NA teams matched up. Go to Group C. FaZe Clan, Heroic, Optic, and Fnatic. Once again, two Danish teams grouped up. If you have four, throw them in completely different groups, you would think. Right? Does that not sound logical?
Yeah. I suspect what it is that they wound up just seeding based on purely on skill. They went purely with the skill, and they did no acknowledgement for regional, and just really didn't consider it too much. So it's not surprising that it comes out that way. I agree that it seems a little bit tone deaf, just the way things stacked up. I kind of understand having like two Danish in each one, because it would look pretty wild if DreamHack Stockholm had a Danish team qualify from each group.
That would look pretty nutty.
Honestly, would have been a possibility if they'd been each one in each group. Like, definitely would have been a possibility. NIP wouldn't have made it out over Astralis if Astralis was in Group B, or over North, obviously. Heroic or Optic could probably have qualified through, well, I don't know, Group D.
Very true. Very true. And out of anything, I felt like Group D was the most sound in terms of diversity and skill.
You've also got both CIS region teams there, though, Hellraisers and Gambit. So
very true. So at least there's something to complain about in each group in terms of what the teams were doing there. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. That's just how they wanted to do it. So storyline for each group. In Group A, so Astralis, North, and Tyloo and Greyhound. North came out on top of Astralis. Nutty. That's even before the finals. So they pretty much set the tone for what we were going to see later on. The other thing, Asia scores another point against AU. Once again, Tyloo is just trying to like assert their dominance over Australia little by little, gaining points here and there. Every once in a while, they'll get the nudge up.
Ultimately, both amount to nothing in the tournament. So
yeah, very true. They're pretty much irrelevant. Yeah,
King of the trash heap is still in the trash heap. That's all I'm saying.
Jeez. All right. Sorry, Australian viewers.
I like both teams. But they both just got outclassed here.
Very true. You get put up against the number one team in the world and then the team that won the tournament. Surprisingly enough, those are not the same team.
Hindsight says this was an amazing group and there was almost no chance either of them makes it out. But foresight said North was nothing special going into this, and we are shocked by the form that they showed. So
you thought Tyloo was going to get out of this group.
I did. That was my surprise pick. I'm going to keep surprise picking them, except that I'm probably going to stop now because they've been disappointing me and letting me down.
Very true.
Only so long I can give you my heart, Tyloo, before I have to take it back. You just keep breaking it. You just keep breaking my heart.
China not number one no more in Mike's heart.
Not number one.
Not number one. So feels bad for China.
It was always like number 15, but like I hope they could cement that number 15 spot. They've just struggled.
Very true. So feels bad for Asia and Australia because you got put up against the number one team in the world and the team that won the event. So it didn't look too great for you. Group B, Nip, Magic, Strikes, and the headband makes its return. All right, NIP. They saw my clip. They did. All of NIP saw the headband. They were like, "Oh my god, this kid's got it. He knows exactly what's going on. He knows everything that's going on behind the scenes. He knows all of our skill sets and everything like that. He knows our strats. He already knows that they're primo, and we're going to spank this group." The little known fact that their win is a goddamn fluke and it's completely irrelevant. They beat both NA teams. So they beat NRG. Cool.
They shouldn't beat NRG.
To be fair, yes, that is very true. They should not beat NRG. So NRG, could we say that they just kind of lost? They lost more than NIP won.
I'm worried about NRG. I'm very worried about NRG because they were so good for like a hot minute. And then they had their confidence break at the major qualifier at the minor. And it just doesn't feel like we've seen that same NRG since. And I'm just not sure whether it's that they don't. I talked about this earlier, I think on a previous show, where until I see that confidence on a big stage again, I just have trouble picking them. I have trouble backing them because I don't think they've shown me that they can consistently perform. And I don't think it has anything to do with their skill. I think it has to do with the mental game. Very
true. So we go into the next set. That was the opening. So Ghost beats Na'Vi, 1917. Ridiculous. If I could say anything, it's ridiculous that Na'Vi loses this series. If I'm gonna go Stephen A for a second here. If I'm gonna go Stephen A for a quick second.
Okay.
This is ridiculous. This cannot happen in Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Okay? It just can't happen. It's not allowed. Gotta get the hands involved, right?
I'm gonna have to start watching the show just so I can get his co-host down. Get my impression of his co-host down.
If you go Max Kellerman, I will go Stephen A. Ghost beating Na'Vi, the number 2 team in the world, with the number 1 player in the world, debatable but simple, and arguably the best duo in the league with him and Electronic. This is ridiculous. Because apparently now it's going to be Wardell and it's going to be Sabrosa, the supposed cheater back in 2016.
I gotta say, Ghost is really the titillating.
They got the hot hand right now. It's basically like NRG, like you said.
Ooh. They're starting to simmer. They're starting to. It's like you
I
got
can feel
all
it
the
in the beard.
ingredients in the pot now. You got the delicious, and they're just kind of starting to just be brought to a boil. You're starting to hit there. They're gonna hit their stride in a tournament soon. They'll make a deep run, and I will be very, very happy. A happy.
So your new 15th pick is Ghost. They've
Ghost
overtaken Tai Lu. They are there now.
It's
So
a good
now
team.
that we have these two quote unquote upsets, NIP 16-13's NRG, surprisingly enough, going to elimination. Obviously, Na'Vi, they beat NRG. To be fair, all maps were pretty close. They were all pretty close. Even to be fair, NRG did win a map. So we will give them that. But then we go into the next match. NIP gets to play another NA team, and they win that. Ghost taking a map, which is very nice. But like we said, NIP, not too crazy. Not too crazy of a team. So then Na'Vi gets to play Ghost, and the NA teams are just put through the ringer in this group. Ghost has to barely beat Na'Vi in an OT, and then Na'Vi gets to clap NRG in the best of 3 elimination, and then they get to clap Ghost in the best of 3 decider match. So NIP gets the easy route. NA gets to get bent over by Na'Vi.
Here's the thing, though. NIP should be the easy route, right? Like, NIP is not a fierce team right now. Yes, they showed much better form in this tournament than they have recently. They're looking all right. You know, your headband clearly did the trick. Here's my question while we're on the subject of headband. When they got eliminated in semis, did you, while wearing the headband, do the Naruto thing, pull out your knife and like cut a line through it and then throw it off? It's intact. Oh, you did. Oh my God, it's there. That's what happened.
I will be fair. I will be fair. That was already there.
No, it wasn't there. Stop talking. I didn't even notice it before.
Ruin the illusion. Ruin the illusion.
I called it. He's watching. They get eliminated.
Yeah.
Tear rolls down. Tear rolls down his cheek while the anime theme plays and just.
I was like that. I took my scissors that I always have on deck and I just.
As it conveniently comes untied and falls.
Yeah, it was
perfect.
It was heartbreaking to see it.
We gotta clip this. We gotta film this moment. This is how we're gonna get the anime.
Yeah. Where's my clip? Where's my Twitter mentions? They better be on point right now.
The cross section on CS fans and anime fans, it's big. It's big. We're gonna get this whole share of the Venn diagram pie.
It is big. I feel like there's so many closet weebs out there that just don't admit it.
And very out there weebs.
Oh, very true. Am I an out there weeb?
Well, I mean, you know the true power of the anime pro, so
I do. I do know. All right. So that's all we got to talk about Group B and its ridiculousness. So therefore, I will take off the headband until we come back to more NIP related topics. Group C, Mertz actually seemed like a benefit to Heroic in what seemed like possibly a detriment to North. He seemed very good when he went to Heroic, which I like. I'm a big Mertz fan, so I'm glad that he actually had some success in that system. So now maybe we'll actually see Heroic do something.
Sometimes you just get a win-win. And the advantage of having, all these Danish teams basically owned by the same org, they just swap things around and they're real happy to trade with each other. Heroic parts is part of that refresh thing, right?
Probably. I'm not too familiar with the whole refresh entertainment business. But anyway, while you look that up, Fnatic, they still look bad.
I think North isn't refreshed, but I know Astralis is. I'm really not sure how that all works in terms of who owns what, because there are technically rules about owning multiple teams, and the whole refresh thing always seems
a little conflict of interest.
A little odd.
But anyways, Fnatic still looking not great. NIP and Fnatic, both historic teams, but both looking a little rough around the edges.
A little well-worn. Swedish CS has just not been its...
It's not like it once was.
Moved on by.
Yes. Of all the 2015 relics that there were, such as Swedish CS and AZ is the one that has come to play in 2018.
Man, shining like a diamond.
Exactly. So that's Group C. There wasn't anything ridiculous about that group. I mean, FaZe got out, Heroic got out, Optic, you're still not great, and Fnatic, your woes continue. So pretty standard storyline for that group. Now we get into the group that actually wasn't too ridiculous in terms of who was in that group. So Gambit is a shell. They are brutal.
That one's mystifying to me. You remember that team won a major?
I do recall such a thing.
Do you recall that team won a major? I mean, admittedly, the team that was across from either pieces teams, but like, it's that major final is wild to me. Immortals versus Gambit, and to see how far so many pieces from that matchup have fallen, it's just one of the stranger things about that whole tournament.
It's bad. Like the mirror version of this team is brutal. Like to think that all of these pieces were so good, but maybe it was just because of Zeus. Because I mean, that's pretty much all we have to go off of right now. Is it was probably just Zeus.
It's been a great test case for Zeus. I mean, Zeus can just put it on his. He's like, I'm pretty sure the way he set up his resume right. Current IGL of Na'Vi, former IGL of Good Gambit, not the IGL of Shit Gambit.
Yeah.
It's literally like, look at Gambit's results once they got rid of me. Ha!
Yeah.
Maybe it was all Kane. Maybe Kane is the answer. Maybe it was all Kane.
Maybe it was Kane.
That's my
lot of secrets. So the other storyline is that Lithuania got its chance on the big stage as Nukie stood in for Woxic for the opening match and the elimination match, and they actually won a series with Nukie. So
how'd you do?
Not great, not as good as Woxic. But then then in the decider match, Woxic actually did arrive for the event, and then they promptly lost. So
Woxic.
Yeah. Maybe if he was actually there, they might have been able to do it. But to be fair, it was also a group with MIBR and Mouse Sports. So, I mean, like, you did have your work a little bit cut out for you.
MIBR is starting to look a lot better.
Thankfully. We're finally seeing Brazilian CS back at it again.
Well, NACS.
Yeah.
International CS.
It's a gray area. It's a gray area.
Made in Brazil, designed in the Serbia, manufactured in the US.
Yes. So MIBR is through to the quarterfinals, and Mouse Sports is as well. So we go into the quarterfinals. My number one storyline here.
Putting it back on, baby.
Nip Magic is back at it again, boys. They get the easiest draw that they possibly could have out of any team that was in the quarterfinals. Who is here? Who do we got to look at? MIBR, Astralis, FaZe Clan, Mouse Sports, North, and Na'Vi, and they drew heroic.
Time to go beat up on our old buddy Freiburg.
It doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah,
like
Freiburg around.
It doesn't get any better than that. So they make it through. Obviously, I mean, going up into this matchup, they win Nuke 16-4. They win Overpass 16-11. Easy
clap.
Nip Magic, baby. Easy. So then in the semifinals, they got to go up against Astralis because obviously they just clapped MIBR. They are still the number one team in the world, regardless of the outcome of the tournament. They're still number one in my eyes, and probably in everybody's eyes. Could you agree that Astralis is still the number one team in the world?
Yes. Yeah, 100%. They made finals at this event. North was showing ridiculous form, beat the number 2 team as well. Like, who could have possibly eclipsed them? North off of one event is not catapulted to the number 1 slot. No one else at this event looked better than Astralis. I mean, it's still Astralis. They're so good.
Because even the teams that are, like, right under Astralis, like, just like Na'Vi, they still lost a map to Ghost. They actually lost 2 maps to Ghost, which is something. And then they lost in the quarterfinals to North. So is North the number 2 team in the world now?
No. you have to show consistency beyond one event, right?
Yeah.
We'll see what they do in the major.
The major is the most important. It is the most major thing that we will consider. So just do well at the major. Got him. So do something there, and then we'll consider you for number 2. And if you can beat Astralis in another best of 3, I think we might have another discussion come next week. Except they won't be participating. I don't think they're participating in the first bid, are they? North do have to play in the first bid. They do play on the 5th. They play then, but we're talking about that later. So next up, Budget FaZe, aka Mouse Sports with Snacks, managed to beat regular FaZe. That's a pretty big win. But I feel like they're still getting like set up with Olaf since he came back.
On the flip side, I feel like Mouse Sports is still getting set up with snacks.
Very true.
That team doesn't look settled either.
And they're not going to be settled again after the major. Rumor mill. Bialy coming in over Oscar, apparently, randomly.
I really hope not.
Yeah, that's not the move. That's not the move.
I hadn't seen this rumor, so I'm relying on you as my source here. But the thing, when you talk about like budget phase versus phase, it's almost like phase was poaching the superstars of every scene, like the mercenaries, like the best of the best, and Mouse Sports was poaching the misfits, where like you knew they had skill, but they just never quite slotted into a natural team home, or they couldn't quite find a natural team home, and that's where you're going. Like that's what's I think cool about Mouse Sports to me, is that you have this odd cast of characters, and they just really gel together occasionally.
Occasionally. Keyword.
Occasionally.
Keyword occasionally.
They should have offered nothing more money. That's all I'm saying. Because of, I mean, they got a final with nothing as a stand-in. That's all I'm saying.
Still.
I don't know.
I don't know if that was the long-term commitment.
I think Team Chem is an underrated factor when making roster decisions, but that's neither here nor there. What is here nor there is, are they going to keep Oscar? And if they're getting rid of Oscar, why? Why would you do that? He's so good.
Yeah.
All you need to do is go back and watch any demo of Oscar playing Mirage ever. And it's just like, oh, this is my map. This is my home. I have an op in my hands. Too bad you die.
Yeah.
Dude's
That's
ridiculous. Dude's ridiculous.
So we go into the semifinals. We got North who beat Navi, and it wasn't close. It was not close.
No.
It was a spanking. North win. So they get to play against Mouse Sports. And then NIP, your boys, get to lose to Astralis. They had the easiest path to the semifinals that you'll see, and then they lost. Didn't even win a map. So had to make sure that I cut myself out of this organization, and I remove my headband till the next time that they have Knit Magic. And maybe so what I'll do is I actually have two headbands. One is uncut, one is cut. So the next time that they do bad, I'll have my regular one, and then I'll bring out the scissors again when they suck, and then I'll just cut that one too.
All right, cue Griffin, cue the song, the anime outro song. We'll have a highlight compilation of you falling from the sky with some feather motifs or something, and the headband falling away from you. There'll be some lighting. For some reason, you'll show up dressed like a 50s noir gangster at one point. I don't know, but that's clearly what this moment calls for.
Yeah, 100%. And it's got to be raining. Make it raining.
It's always raining.
It always has to be raining.
Always,
especially in scenes like that. So
in emotional moments.
So the finals, we get Big Boy Astralis and apparently Big Boy North. And the funny thing is that in that matchup against Mouse Sports with North got 16-0'd on Dust 2 by Mouse Sports.
Wild.
16-0'd. So Astralis is like, yes, this is what I like to see. So they go into the matchup, they can pick Nuke or they can pick Dust 2, and they're like, yo, North just got 16-0'd. I'm going to take Dust 2. And so North decided, yo, they just picked Dust 2 after we got 16-0'd. Let's 16-1 them. And then they do.
Next level sandbagging.
That's
a meta game in action right there. MSL.
Stephen A's coming out to play again.
IQ.
It's ridiculous.
5 million IQ.
Ridiculous. So North win Dust 2 16-1. And I'm sitting there as I'm watching this match. I'm like, yo, they're about to win 2-0. And then we go to train. And Astralis was like, no. Doesn't work like that. 16-5. Get the hell out of here with that. It's like 16-5 them. Then we go to Overpass, and it's a little bit closer this time. I'm pretty sure it was 16-12, 16-11. One of those. It was 16-11 in favor of North. And this was actually when MSL definitely earned his MVP because he actually kind of turned up for that matchup. So it was nice to see that MSL came out in the way that he did. He came out swinging.
It's so impressive that they beat Astralis on Overpass as well. You remember when Astralis was just untouchable on this map?
Do you remember when Magix was just untouchable on this map? I don't know if you recall before Magix joined Astralis, whatever team he was on, whether it was North or some other Danish lineup. This guy was amazing on Overpass. Like, we're talking back when Fnatic was actually good, he would single-handedly beat Fnatic on this map. This was always his map. And now that he's on Astralis and he loses, come on. It's ridiculous.
It's just the Danish home.
It is the Danish home.
It's like
so,
cash for the US.
Very true. Cash for the U. Cash is just such a pug piece of garbage.
That tells you what you need to know about the NA scene and the Danish scene.
Yeah, 100%.
We love the pug map. They love the strat map.
And guess who wins every event? Not NA.
Hey, all I'm saying is reigning major champs, still NA for a little bit longer. I'm clinging to it.
No. Even I can't even, like, even if this headband said NA, I wouldn't even put it on to believe in NA for this major.
I'll tattoo NA on my... No, I'm not going to commit to any of that.
Yeah, don't.
Nope.
That's the bad call. That's the no-no.
NACS. I'm not even going to say the words. I'm not going to finish the statement. I'll be held to it.
So that is DreamHack Stockholm. I think we covered each thing to a T. Exactly. Tied it up.
Get it out of here.
Throw it in the trash because that event's fun. Because we're talking about NA stuff now. GexCon in Virginia, I believe it was.
In Virginia, Dulles, right outside the DC area, about half an hour outside.
Yes. So I did most of the Stockholm because that is the event that I was watching. But now the event that you were at. Tell me about GexCon, my boy.
I could feel the CS flowing in my veins.
Oh, God.
It's local CS is a hell of a drug. That's what I'm saying. It was a great event. It was a lot of fun. We had, let's see, teams that were competitive in the scene sense. We had Vision, we had Azio, and we had Accelerate. Now, there were some interesting moments here. Interesting moment number one with these three teams is that Accelerate actually got upset in group stages 16-10 by Warfleet.
Yeah.
Now, Warfleet's a new roster. It features the dynamic duo of Hollywood and Kilroy, who've been playing together for a long time. Who've been playing through these lands for a long time. For anyone unfamiliar with that dynamic duo, the thing that they are most well known for is never making it out of groups. So this time they 2-0'd their way out of groups. They made it straight out of groups, won the winter match, like straight out of groups as the number one seed in the bracket, and they took it all the way to the semi. So big shout outs to Hunter and Kilroy, to Hollywood and Kilroy, for really putting together a nice roster here. The rest of the team as well. Duck. I mostly just remember Duck because we were highlighting. He always managed to be the last alive in their matchup with X1 Academy. That was
You're referring to what the hell is her name? Warfleet, right?
Warfleet, yes.
It was Duck, Dragoon, Hollywood Kilroy, and the last guy that I don't remember.
Ah, yes, that last guy. What a mensch.
That last guy, that last individual mensch. Boy.
Oh, it's Dragoon and Dutois.
Dutois. That's why I didn't remember. It's a fancy name.
And Yelrad.
Oh, Yelrad, yeah.
Dutois, I think, was going by Duck. Dragoon and Dutois were not calling themselves Dragoon and Dutois, so I don't know what the deal is there. That's definitely not what they were in the server.
Dutois. It's fancy. It's French. It's fancy French.
So the result of this, of seeded there, meant that we had a really stacked one side of the bracket. You had a side of the bracket, and this is just purely based on the way seeding worked out. There was no, manual seeding here. You had one side of the bracket that had Azio, Vision, and Accelerate. And frankly, one of those matchups should have been the grand final. So it's a little disappointing that that's the way it shook out. But that's just the reality sometimes, especially when you have an upset. What that meant is that the other side of the bracket was way lighter. You had X1 Academy and Warfleet in the semifinals, which either of those teams should have been beaten by any of the three MDL rosters, right? Mm-hmm. So it was kind of an interesting thing. I think you called it controversial in an article.
I did call it controversial. That was just because of what I was seeing on Twitter. That wasn't a personal opinion. I understand how numbers work.
It's hilarious. People are like, how did this happen? It's so controversial. It's like they decided to do this to give Jasper a free ride. Now, Don't get me wrong. SFX, Jasper, has an uncanny luck for finding his way deep into playoff brackets at local land.
That's very true. He does.
The man does. But there's no way it was set up to facilitate that. Like, it just wasn't. And it would make no sense for Nerd Street to do that. Like, it would make no sense. Why would
how do you benefit
for a grand final matchup? If they had rigged it so that there was definitely an MDL match, that would have been potentially biased. But this is just the way the numbers worked out.
Yeah.
Unfortunate for some of these rosters because they all three of those definitely could have made a run to the finals. As a result, it's Vision that made it through. Vision had a really hotly contested matchup with Accelerate. That one wasn't actually on stream until the last map, but I was standing over their shoulders watching, and it was tense. I could feel the tension.
Yeah.
That was a good one. And then we cast the third map of it, which was Nuke. Vision's still great on Nuke. It's just
they're dumb on Nuke,
so
but I mean
good
that's
on
just
Nuke.
I don't know if that's a Vision just being great on Nuke or that's every other team just doesn't practice Nuke because this is North America.
They have a phenomenal Nuke, and the thing is, so I was talking to them. I was talking to them, curious about this. When I first saw them playing Nuke, I was like, okay, are they going to bring forward that great form on Nuke that they had when Land Hero was calling, when they had Quinn, who played a vital swing role for them? And it turns out that VSA just completely adopted their old Nuke. Completely adopted their old Nuke into the strat book. Didn't change it. I mean, I'm sure they've added wrinkles and they're figuring stuff out. But a Proto's playing Quinn's role, has the XM all the time. You know, VSA is playing what Land Hero used to do. So they really just, on that map, the strat book has changed in a lot of contexts, but on that map, they realized what they had worked and they've kept it. Now, teams are going to really need to, especially for this next MDL season, start studying their Nuke. Because if you wind up in a veto where you draw Nuke against this team, I'm confident they can hands down beat anyone in the league on that map.
For sure. I would agree. I would agree to that.
So the final wound up being X1 Academy against Vision, and at that point, it was kind of just a smack. To be quite frank, X1 Academy put up a better fight than I expected. X1 Academy was SFX, Purer, Temperature, Loner, and hold on.
The last individual.
The
you can do it.
Individual was.
Yes, you got it. He's got it.
My brain broke.
Do it.
My brain broke.
No, it didn't. You got it. He's got a lot of hair.
Yesterday. Oh, Arbiter, of course.
There you go.
The man, the myth, the legend, Arbiter.
I knew that. I knew that was the hint. That was the hint you needed.
I just had like I just got back, folks. It's a little fried and proud about these events.
Excuses.
Having a good time.
Excuse.
It's a wild time. So they actually performed better than I expected, especially on Train. They came out on Train and they actually had a good showing in the first half. The second half, they kind of got smacked and it was run away with. But going into it, Mark and I, Bach and casting, we weren't sure that we were going to see 40 rounds total across the series. And they managed to take us to 42. So good showing, X1 Academy. Vision looked like they're in great form. They took home $7,000 in prize pool. They booked a free ticket to the Philadelphia Championship event, as well as room and board and all that stuff. So they got their shot at 30K in December or whenever it's going to wind up being. I don't think the date's been announced yet. Sometime this winter. So good showing from Vision. They look really solid as a team. They look solid as a team. The ASIO matchup was interesting. It was a great matchup. Frankly, they smacked ASIO on the first map, which is where I thought they were going to be competitive. And after that happened, I think it was like a 7-1 lead at the beginning. Once it got to Nuke, it's all over when you're against Vision.
It's all over.
You can't let it get to Nuke. You can't let Nuke be the decider map for you. It's just it's gonna be bad.
So to recap, Vision, they win MDL.
Yes.
Or sorry, Bravado won. Sorry. They came second.
MDL.
Second MDL. They win Tokyo and Tulsa. And now they win this. So
new roster looking good. New roster.
Yeah, and the new roster looks even better. So
it's really looking good. You can say what you want about the way they replace players, but ultimately a Proto is a god. I mean, a Proto, I think it was Train where he had like back-to-back 4Ks.
Mm-hmm.
He had like a Deagle 3K and then like all headshots. A Proto's nuts. So he's a great, and he's showing himself to be adaptive. He's playing whatever role they need him to play, which is exactly what they need out of that position. And then you've got VSA, who's just such an experienced caller at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And they seem to all be meshing and playing together pretty well. So I expect that team to be playoffs next season. I would not be surprised to see that team make pro, and that's what they're gunning for.
See, I don't know how much you would have seen this or at least paid attention to it. I want to know what the opping situation is on this team because I'm aware that VSA and Caboose will be taking those roles of primary and secondary respectively. I don't know how confident I am in those abilities. So I feel like coming up into this MDL season, we're going to see a lot of 5 rifle setups. But I mean,
we saw a lot of T side. They played a lot of 5 rifle. They played a lot of 5 AK. And the thing, so watching their cash against ASIO because it was really quite remarkable. They were like flowing water.
mm-hmm.
Wherever there was action on the map, they were there. So it's a very fast play style. Hit, react, rotate, hit, react, rotate. They played it excellently, and it was super coordinated. Very well called, both on CT side and T side. So I think you will see a lot of 5 rifle. I think you're absolutely right here, where they're going to go for momentum plays, they're going to go for speed plays, and AKs just lends itself to that more. But I would also think that you're going to see a lot of opping out of VSA and Caboose, but when you do see the opping, I expect it to be more of a set piece as opposed to a go out and kill opper.
Yeah, for sure.
They're not going to be planning themselves around the star, and I'm kind of okay with that. VSA locked it down just fine on Nuke with the op. That was where I'm thinking of having seen him more. Caboose picked it up a fair amount. I mean, they can all get it done. They can all. That's the other thing about this team. At the end of the day, you put an op in any of their hands. Spongy was. I think I'm recalling some Spongy clips with the op on Train, but I think that may have been because he salvaged it at one point.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure what the exact context was, but any of these players are deadly, and when you have a situation like that, it's really a wealth of riches to choose from.
Yeah, the whole team is talented ordinarily, so I wouldn't be surprised if they just put it in anybody's hands and it'll work. So it's just a matter of who will get it, when will they use it, and how will they use it. So
a player I want to highlight on another team actually, who impressed me. We were talking about it going into it. Hunter. It's Hunter's first LAN. He played very well. He's kind of a quiet guy, from my impression of him. I mean, obviously, I didn't interact with him a ton, but I interacted with the AZO roster a fair amount. I was talking to Bibby about it. I was talking to Tryhard about it.
Yep.
He was very impressive on LAN. He was one of their best performers, if not the best performer. Really, quite a high caliber player. And I think that as he gets more LAN XP, he's a very serious option for top MDL teams. I think there may be some changes coming to that roster. Keep an eye out for him.
Yeah, that's what scares me.
They are.
Oh, for sure. They're already on the roster.
Yeah, some of them are. One of them maybe not, but we'll see.
Ooh. What does Darf know?
What
does Darf know?
All I'm saying is Dignitas dropped a roster. And that's all.
They're picking up Ricks. Oh my god.
Yeah,
guys,
it's Ricks.
AZO Ricks.
Oh baby, we're back.
Oh my god, bro, you just leaked it.
That's what
it
is.
You Oh that's my god. He can lose for them now too. He can throw their quarterfinal. This is so perfect. I'm excited.
Ricks joins that roster and Grim just immediately vote kick.
Oh my god. I'm so excited now. Season 29, lit.
That's where it's at.
It's gonna be lit. AZO Ricks. You heard it here first. AZO Ricks PogChamp.
What's interesting about that roster is they're all going to the gaming house. With the exception of Grim, the whole roster, coach, manager, everything, is going to be at a gaming house in Oklahoma City. So and they're young. Like
they are young, yeah.
They've got
I'm pretty sure
who's like 19.
Snakes is in high school, isn't he?
He's 16. He does online school though. His parents he hasn't been going to a traditional school for a long time. His parents are great people, by the way. Snake's parents, the Amans.
Yeah.
And they do a lot to facilitate his career. And they've ultimately, in talking with him, they said, look, this is a big opportunity. They want to support the ability, for him to be around his teammates. They see it as both a growth opportunity for him as well, because this way he's not just sitting on his PC all the time. He actually has people around him and a support group around him and everything. And as they said, I was talking to his mom about this. She said, at the end of the day, if it doesn't work, he can always just come home. And he's, if it doesn't work, he'll come home and they'll figure it out from there. But it's an opportunity, and he is such a talented player. He's so good. He's just so good. Also, pretty good at Crossfire, by the way. I don't know if you're familiar with the board game Crossfire.
The board game Crossfire, no.
Old school board game. There was a very lit matchup between Grim and Snakes. They were going at it on this board game, and there was, shit you not, the Mario Party grouped around them. The guy dressed like Mario, a guy dressed like Peach. No, sorry, a man dressed like Peach, a woman dressed like Bowser, Donkey Kong was there with his shirt off and banana stickers on his nipples so that he wouldn't get
Nice.
kicked out of the con.
Classic.
There was Toadstool. There was it
Who
was
says
a whole
Toadstool?
crew. What would you just Toad?
Well, it's just Toad, but I'm surprised to hear somebody call him
His full
Toadstool.
name is Toadstool.
It is.
Okay?
It is. I will be fair.
Okay.
It is.
I don't want to
just
hear
surprised.
this. I don't want to hear this. No, but they decided that they were just gonna box blasting music and just got crazy hype. They were chanting like defense for this Crossfire game, which is a stupid game where you shoot at a little puck and try and get into your opponent's goal. Like that's the game. You shoot little pellets at the puck. That's the whole game. So it was very silly. I had a great time watching it. Very silly. So that's how they train their fragging. I think there's a clip on the Nerd Street Twitter. You can check it out if you want to, because this was going wild. Another thing that's going to be interesting that you should keep an eye out for is there was actually a Nerd Street film crew following ASIO through the tournament.
Ooh, that's pretty sick, actually.
It is. And so they're going to be making something, a documentary progress at the event and doing an analysis of the team and a whole bunch of stuff. I wasn't actually involved with that production, but I get to see some of it.
Is that more of a Rusty thing?
That was Rusty, Dallas, and Skrillex making that happen.
Very cool.
It's going to be really interesting. Keep an eye out for that when it comes out. I don't know what they're calling it, but it will be interesting.
It will be. I'm hyped to hear that they have a team house. That's sick, especially for a bunch of young guys like that. That's an experience right there. Like maybe like when you're like in your like mid-20s, you're just kind of like, you know, whatever. I'm an adult. I got, you know, bills and shit that I gotta pay. These guys are all like under 20.
Tryhard's gonna have his hands full. Frosty K looked really good at the tournament too, by the way.
Very true.
Impressed by him. But Tryhard's gonna have his hands full, man. This roster.
Yeah, that's gonna be a fun time. Yeah,
it's gonna be wild.
That is gonna be.
Maybe I'll have his hands full too.
That's gonna be water bottles all over this house.
Madness.
So that was GexCon. Vision win it, unsurprisingly, and there's a lot of promise in ASIO. So
one other roster. Did I just burn all of our time? I just want to touch on Accelerate a little bit. They looked good. They lost to Vision, but it was a really great series. It was a strong series. Sidestep and Dangerous, the new additions. I liked the way they were playing. Sidestep had some great clutch moments. Quite a few of them, actually. Seems like a strong player. Dangerous, one thing that I observed about him, just standing behind him over the shoulders, seems like he's a great communicator, and brings a lot to their comms and team chem. So I think as this team continues to develop, I think it's going to be very good. I'm very excited for them next season. They've got roles figured out. I wish Ruin had been there to coach them through this tournament. I think that could have been an added factor in improving them. But hopefully he'll be there at the next event.
Very true. So at the next event, they won't be there, but it's the major. It's the major. Well, the major qualifier.
It's the major.
But it's a major right now. So we're just gonna, because we gotta zip through these last 3 topics, and this one doesn't take much time. We're just predicting stuff. So the first matchup that we're gonna see on September 5th, which is 2 days from now, by the way, this coming Wednesday is the major qualifier, and it'll run all the way. The whole major will run till the 23rd. So this is going to be an event and a half. I think the longest running major.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one goes for goes for a little bit.
It just goes forever. It's gonna be weird.
It reminds me of League of Legends Worlds, which is like such a huge spectacle. At least not this year, because
Riot Games. I feel like by the time we get to the actual major, I'm gonna be sad.
Very true. Yeah, we're all gonna be burnt out. We're like, we don't want to watch Counter-Strike anymore. Give me something new. So
diluting the glory.
First matchup, Astralis versus Complexity. Who do you got? I don't think it needs to be said.
I'm just gonna say, all yay, baby.
I'm gonna say the words.
Drop 45 like he did on land. Woo! It's gonna be over. No, it's gonna be Astralis.
It's gonna be Astralis. 100%.
If Complexity beat Astralis and upset them, my heart will fill up with Kool-Aid and then explode. I will drink the Kool-Aid. I will drink the Complexity Kool-Aid. I will be a Complexity fan. I'll change my Twitter account to a Complexity super fan account.
Yeah, you'll be COL_Darth Mike.
COL Darth Mike. I think they need to pay me for that one, but I'll try. I need to get myself on staff for that one, but I'll be a big Complexity fanboy.
All right. Next matchup, we have different opinions. Renegades versus Big. I'm on the Smooya hype train.
I'm on the NA hype.
No.
It's an NA roster. You won't convince me otherwise.
Oh, it is. Well, wait, no. No, it's not. No, wait, no.
It's an NA roster. Bunch of people living in Detroit. They've got Nifty. They've got definitely an NA team. No, I haven't seen a lot of Renegades lately. They haven't been in a lot of events. So I think they've been working, they've been grinding, they've been strat saving, they've been on the beaches of Oz, holding the spirit of Australia and channeling it through their body so they can bring it to bear in this major. And I think they're going to shock the world and topple big early on.
I do not. God B is God B, and he will win. God B. Gambit versus Tai Lu. Talked about Gambit already. They suck. They're terrible. At this level of competition, you're nothing.
To be fair, Tai Lu have been super disappointing too, so.
Nope.
Battle the disappointment. No, I'm with you. I'm taking
that'd be like me versus my brother. Okay, next matchup.
This would be a year from their last major event. Maybe they'll channel that improbable form because no one rated them going into that kind of a dark horse pick, but maybe they're just gonna explode out, be glorious for one tournament, and then burn it all down again. No, not happening.
Tai Lu.
Right, next pick.
Tai Lu, 16-14. Next pick, Hellraiser versus North. North. Of course.
Unless watch the MSL have secured his place in this team by absolutely dominating a tournament, only to go back to sucking for a year.
This team's going 0-3 in the qualifier. No,
just
North.
Bomb out of the major.
North, easy
North.
Liquid versus Optic. Liquid. Like
it's so
Optic,
exciting.
No.
To confidently pick an NA roster instead of having to do them as an upset pick. Oh,
very true. Liquid, easy. NIP versus VP.
NIP. You don't even have to put that on. It's not impressive if it's just expected.
NIP.
If you watch a bare knuckle fight between a mediocre boxer and a guy who's never fought a day in his life and is in a wheelchair, the mediocre boxer is going to win, and that's what this is right now because VP is on life support.
NIP. Easy. Rogue versus Space Soldiers. Space Soldiers.
Nah. Rogue.
Zantares.
Rogue. I believe in the power of MC. Matthew C. Elmore going to bring that power to bear. Going to get his roster through. Cadian going to have his ridiculous form. Hiko's going to be inhuman reflexes. Are you kidding me? It'll happen. I'm all in on. I am so bought in on the Rogue hype train. So bought in.
I will be fair.
A while ago.
I've said easy on every single one of my picks. This one is not easy. This one will be a struggle, and I don't fully believe in Space Soldiers to win, but I will believe in Zantares for maybe a match. And after he loses, I'll never pick him again. So yeah, I do like Rogue. I respect that pick. Next, Vega versus Spirit. Spirit.
I don't know enough about either of these teams' recent form to pick, so I just chose Vega.
They're both irrelevant and won't make it out of this tournament anyway, so who cares? Spirit anyway.
Shark.
And that is the major qualifier by Balti Baby and Darth Mike.
First round guess. First round.
Yeah.
There we go, baby.
That was our rapid fire predictions for the week. Maybe that's a new segment. Anytime there's an event, we do rapid fire predictions just to grease up the old lungs for full of rapid fire picks. Next event, this one's going to be a quick one because there's not much to talk about, but it is enough to make us want to talk about it. The Advanced Cup qualifier happened again for ESEA. So Focal Point beat Fat Boys, an interesting name. But I mean, hey, do whatever you want to do with your names. On Focal Point, we got Spammer, Mikey, Caber, Bobby Tux, and KMZ. Only ones that are at least relevant enough to me, KMZ, because he had a great advanced season when he was playing for Uber to Your Crib. Pretty sure that was the team he was on. And then Spammer, who historically in the MDL, I'm pretty sure has 1 kill and 0 deaths with 2 rounds played. And that is his history in the MDL. So he's got a little bit of relevance, but not a lot. And the last teams to make it out of the Advanced Cup were My Revenge, which is the Spermy Twiggy duo, and then Furia, which is the new Brazilian team that moved up and has a team house, and they are ready to dominate this league.
So I'm unclear. Do both of them make it through?
They do not.
They do not.
They do not.
Okay.
It was via the last cup announcement news article that ESEA put out. They said that one team was going to make it through. So Focal Point did win that matchup 2-0. Won 16-12 and 16-5. Don't know the maps, but those were the scores. And Focal Point won. End of story.
Okay.
So we will see Focal Point. Who knows if we will see Renz in advanced next season, or if we'll see him in MDL. Who knows? He can do whatever the hell he wants. He was recently seen in Epicenter qualies playing on FAM 143. So there you go. It's spicy
potential.
And the last announcement of the day, the last little bit of news that we got for Drop Room as we come to the close of the show, the MDL is changing up their relegation system. So they are actually listening to the community, as they actually have been. Recently, I will give them this. They are making changes. They are listening to the community, and they are doing things. We don't really always know what they're doing, but they're doing things, and it seems good.
I got some insight this weekend because I shared a room with Mark, with Bach, who is their community manager, product lead, content. I mean, he does a lot of things for ESEA.
He wears many hats.
Yes. He wears many hats. Not only does he look like an angel while he's asleep, we had some conversations about this and the way they interpret community feedback. And a point that he made is a lot of time when the community asks for something, it's something that ESEA is already discussing, considering, and working on. And there are all sorts of limiting factors towards whether they can implement it or not. Sometimes it's just to check on their own ability. And there were some things we discussed, and a lot of it makes sense from their perspective. So I'm going to give ESEA a little bit more of a break here because it is hard to see the inner workings of the company. And again, they've been doing a great job of listening to the community lately and taking back feedback and reacting based on it and having an open dialogue. They've got a terrible reputation in a lot of senses, and it's kind of a meme at this point.
It is,
but I think they've been pretty good lately. So
all right. I will read this like a benevolent ruler, and you guys are all my peasants. So that is how I'm gonna read this. I will only talk about the NA decision. So welcome to Storytime with Balti Baby, the benevolent ruler of Drop Room.
Do you want me to introduce you like a town crier?
Yeah. Let's go.
Here, all present. Your lord and master, the Balti Baby, Weeaboo of the North, has arrived on his chariot, and now he shall proclaim a declaration regarding next season's MDL relegation and move up.
Hello, I am your benevolent ruler, Balti Baby. Thank you. Simmer down. Gotta read stuff. All right, thank you. So, posted one day ago via Illuminati R. At the end of ESEA Season 27, we announced a significant change to the move-up structure, whereby a relegation tournament would be played for teams qualifying to the MDL division, which would be shrinking. What the hell is this writing? How am I reading this? Would be played for teams qualifying to the MDL division, which would be shrinking to 18 teams over 2 seasons. I feel like there's a lot of witches in there. Since then, we have received a significant amount of community feedback and will be making several adjustments in order to address those. Today, we are happy to announce the second season of adjusted move-ups in order to reach 18 teams in all MDL divisions across the globe. This will allow all teams to play each other once per season and eliminate the Swiss-style system in our highest division. For season 29 to season 30, the MDL move-up process will be as follows. I won't be reading Europe or Australia because we only care about NA. We care about NA, baby. This is NA. So North America, the bottom 2 teams will be relegated directly to advanced. That is from MDL. If you're at the bottom 2, you just get sucked right into the advanced vortex. So feels bad, but also you sucked enough to not be competitive in this league, so get out.
You sucked in the league, now it's time to get sucked.
Time to get the zuck.
Time to get that suck.
The top placing... Yeah, it's not the good suck that we're talking. We're talking about the bad suck.
Bad suck.
So now this is the good suck. The top placing advanced team will move directly to the MDL. This is more than likely because of Team 1 winning advanced and then all of the Brazilians being like, they should have moved up to MDL right away. Man. QQ. We're good now. They're in the MDL. It's all over. You can stop QQing all over Reddit and all over the ESEA Twitch chat. The next 4 teams from the MDL will play in the relegation tournament. So that way it means the 2 teams that didn't get relegated, whatever 4 teams are above that, you get put in the tournament. The next 3 teams from the advanced division will qualify to the relegation tournament, which means if you make the semifinals, you are in the relegation tournament, not if you make it into the quarterfinals. So if you make it to semis, lose, you're good. You make it to the finals, you lose to whoever advances directly up. you're still good. You get the relegation tournament. But that final spot will once again be reserved for ESEA to either invite a team, which they more than likely will not do because, like last time, we didn't see anybody that deserved it. Bullshit. There definitely was, but you didn't want to pick them. Anyways, the next, if they don't pick one, it will go to the next highest placing advanced team, but that's going to be all the advanced quarterfinalists. So I feel like if that happens again, we're going to have another pre-relegation, which is going to blow chunks. And then the final point, the top 3 teams in the relegation tournament will qualify directly for season 30 of the MDL. So there will be a 3rd place decider for the relegation tournament. And there you go.
I dig it.
That was story time with their benevolent ruler.
It brings it much more in line with the way MDL to Pro League works, right? It's pretty much the way MDL to Pro League works. And that makes sense to me. It's a good system. It's a system that works. It's a brutal system. It's very difficult to get out. If you make it out of that cauldron, you're a legitimate shot in the next league up. So I like it. I like this change. I think it's a more transparent, obvious system. Did you see Joe's tweet about this? Where he's like, I can't wait for people to not read this and then in 3 months complain that these rules aren't there.
I did see that.
Read the rule set, folks. If you're going to compete in the tournament, read the rule set, and that way you won't be surprised at the end of the season when you're like, why am I not getting moved up?
But they're gonna have the hindsight. They're gonna be like, at the time, they're gonna be like, yo, this is good. And then when it screws them over, they're gonna be like, why would this be in it?
I'm gonna start a Reddit thread. Let's circle jerk.
Yeah. Gotta love those circle jerkers on Reddit. That's an electric time on the internet.
It's a good time. I'm excited for this next season of ESEA leagues, of MDL in particular. Advance is going to be interesting too now that teams have had a season in advance and they're a little bit more familiar with what it takes to actually battle it through. I think you're going to see a lot more competitive results out of that roster, or out of that league, just because people realize like you can't kind of just hang on there. It's going to be a cut above what main was. And MDL, I think it's going to be the most competitive season yet. Only 16 teams, the threat of relegation if you hit the bottom 2, and the top teams. I'm just to rattle off some names. Bravado, legit. Team 1, legit. Vision, legit.
FYB
looking like they'll be legit. Who's on FYB?
So it's gonna be Swag, Marky, Cooper, Freakazoid, and Zelsus.
Swole Patrol.
It's Swole, but they had to move teams, yeah. Because Silent kept their roster. He was the leader of the team, so he kind of stole the whole thing.
I assume FYB is going to become Swole Patrol.
Yeah, very likely.
So Swole Patrol, of course. Whatever Silent's going to do will be interesting. I don't know. We'll see.
It'll be irrelevant is what it's going to be. It will be irrelevant.
Blackout looking like they're going to be really strong.
They have such a strong lineup. If they don't do well, that's brutal.
Is this going to be the most competitive MDL season yet? I can, 6 to 8 teams off the top of my head. Now, here's a question. What if Swole Patrol makes pro off of the Optic move? What if Swole Patrol gets slid into pro? They were 3rd in the last relegation tournament.
Yeah.
That would be the move. What if they just slide them on into Pro League?
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if ESL did the scum move and just said, we're not going to replace them and we're just going to have whoever wins MDL just automatically move up.
That would make me a sad boy.
Yeah.
I mean, whoever wins MDL does automatically move.
Oh, do they? Okay, well then maybe semifinals.
Don't do the auto move down, you're saying?
Yeah.
I don't know. It'll be interesting. What I guarantee is whatever the decision, someone will be mad about. 100%. Doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah, very true.
Has no bearing on what decision they make. But it's going to be so exciting. And you know what else is really exciting involved?
What?
Your fantasy league.
My fantasy league. Very true. It is hype. It is real.
We're going to have to introduce a section on this podcast. It's like Balti Baby's top performers of the week.
Yeah, very true. We gotta get some like audio, like some like sliding graphics to come in. We got big plans.
We should get like a name brand sponsor for it. DraftKings.
Yes.
Dust to US Balti Baby Fantasy League. Come on, Joe, if you're watching this. That's what that sponsor money.
Exactly. Hit me with that sponsor.
DraftKings sponsor.
Even though I already work
Baby
for you.
Fantasy League. This is a different enterprise, but it's gonna be exciting. We got the draft tomorrow.
Yeah, draft is tomorrow. So hopefully, last one was chaotic. And I'm hoping it's just as chaotic. It was very intense the last time. But now this time I actually have like free agency lists on everybody's league. So that way, once somebody's taken from that league, I will delete them from the list and there won't be repeat players on teams. I had that last season. I think in 2 leagues where there was the same player on multiple teams. So that was a
I gotta prep my draft. I'll tell you who I know I'm picking. I bet you know who I know I'm picking.
AGM.
100%. Favorite fragger in MDL. He's gonna crush it.
Well, I mean, AGM is in your league, so he might select himself.
I'm gonna pick him and then trade him to AGM for King's Rank. I'm gonna pick him just so Mike can't pick himself.
Bro, I feel like he won't trade you for himself.
Oh, we'll see.
I feel like he won't.
The question is, how long can I let him slide? Do I take him first round? Do I take him second round? I think last year.
It's an 8-team league now. I feel like you could risk a third.
I don't know if on AGM. I don't know if I can risk a third. That'd be 16 picks in. It's gonna be rough. It'll depend on my draft order. It'll depend on my draft.
You don't think there's like 25 to 30 people who are better or will have better fantasy performances than AGM?
Have you seen what OpGM does in servers? That man's got stats. All right, I need to stop talking him up because he's my sleeper pick, despite the fact that he's in my league. So that draft's gonna be tomorrow. We'll go over the results. Talk about it.
I'll be streaming it.
You'll be streaming it.
I'll be streaming it. Twitch.tv/BaltyBaby. It'll be there.
Hit me with a call in if you want to call in. Like, I'll walk you through my draft strategy.
We'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'll have multiple people come in. You can have one giant call. People there.
I like it.
One giant draft party, boys.
Just do a call in with me and Magic Helmet. Talk the whole time.
True. Could do that.
I dig it because we're in the same league now, so I can't wait to beat you, Mitch. Clip it. Send it to Mitch if he's not watching right now.
All right. And that, I believe that is all for Drop Room this week. That is all the topics we have. So if you aren't already, go to my Twitter where I've posted multiple links to the Discord for the Balty Baby Fantasy League. If you want to join it for the MDL, you can do that. I still have 3 spots that need filling in leagues. I have a team. I have a league of 7 people and I have a league of 6. If you want to join it, do that. If you don't, that's okay. It's all good. I had to fill those leagues with just team 8, team 7. If you check BFLF, they actually only have 7 people in it, but there's a team 8 just to fill the spot. And it'll just be filled with my own draft board. So it's like I have multiple teams in many leagues.
I like it. I like it.
But that's it. That is everything for Drop Room episode 13. Gex by Northwest.
Gex by Northwest.
Gex by Northwest. And that's it for this week. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Darf, what do you got to say?
I got to say, tune in next week at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday. We'll be back. Same time, same place, same faces.